Hello everyone, welcome to Progressive Learners again. This is the first lecture for the science series and we start with chapter 1. Chapter 1 is about food. Okay, so we will be starting about with this chapter. We have seen that the questions are related to the components of food, preservation of food, and sorts like that. So I'll just give you a brief outline of what you will be studying in this chapter. In this chapter, I'll be teaching you in detail about all these things. I'll just write them together. Sources of food. Then I'll be talking about components of food. The next topic will be balanced diet. And the last will be about food cleanliness. And preservation of food. So we'll be having four topics to deal with in this chapter. So today I'll be starting with the first component, that is sources of food. Okay. So when you talk about sources of food, I'll just directly explain it over here only because it's quite a small topic. We have already known about this. There are two main sources of food. First is the plant source and the other one is the animal source. So in these two sources of food, we know about the food materials that can be included in them. Yeah, we know that all fruits, vegetables, oats, pulses, etc. are included in plant-based diet, whereas milk, eggs, meat, chicken, fish, etc. are included in animal-based diet. Okay, so we have sources of food which are mainly of two types. Okay, they are plant and animal based. So if they ask you what are the sources of food, so they are broadly classified as plant and animal based. Okay, the next thing that we start with is components of food. Now this is quite important, so I'll just start with it. I'll be explaining it to you in the form of a chart so that it's easy for you all to retain. Okay. Components of food are broadly classified into two categories. Yeah, let's look at those two categories. First are macronutrients and second is micronutrients. Now, what are macronutrients? Let's look at them also in detail. So, I'll just draw it for you. We are essentially going to have four types of macronutrients. So, I'll just make place enough for them. Okay. The first one is called as carbohydrates. Second is proteins. Third, fats. And the last one is water. Okay. Now, what are macronutrients? Macronutrients are those nutrients which body needs in large quantities. So all those nutrients which the body requires in large quantities are classified under macronutrients. Whereas what are micronutrients? Now you must have understood, as I have explained what are macro, you must have guessed what you mean by micronutrients. So all those nutrients that the body requires in very small amounts. are called as micronutrients. So we can basically classify them into two. First one is vitamins and the second one is minerals. So vitamins and minerals are required in trace amounts in our body, whereas carbs, proteins, fats and water are required in larger amounts. Now, one thing that you should essentially remember in these macronutrients part is that carbohydrates, proteins and fats are macronutrients which give you energy, from which if you burn them you get energy. Water is the only macronutrient which is not going to provide you any energy. Okay, now further they are going to be classified into various other types. We'll be talking about them in detail. So on this page itself I shall show about the first macronutrient, that is carbohydrates. Okay, carbohydrates are further classified, children. Let's look at their classification. Okay. Now, carbohydrates are further classified into three major types. There is one more type over here in between which I shall show with the dotted lines. Now, when you talk about carbohydrates, carbohydrates are basically sugars. Okay. Carbohydrates are basically sugars. The general formula for carbohydrates is CnH2nOn. Means they are made up of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, and they are in the ratio, that is carbon, hydrogen and oxygen is in the ratio 1:2:1. So you should remember about this. Now they are commonly known as sugars or saccharides, and based on the number of units or the individual unit of a carbohydrate is called as a saccharide. So based on the number of units which are present, carbohydrates are further classified as monosaccharides, disaccharides and polysaccharides. Now, there is a dotted line over here. This is going to represent oligosaccharides. I have not included oligosaccharides because they are outside, beyond the scope of your syllabus. Oligosaccharides are to be studied at the PGT level, the TGT level, not at the PRT level and all. Okay. So monosaccharides, if the carbohydrates are made up of one single unit, that is of one single saccharide, then that carbohydrate is called as a monosaccharide. If the carbohydrate is made up of two units, that is of two saccharides, then this carbohydrate is known as a disaccharide. If the carbohydrate is made of 3 to 10 units, then it is called as a oligosaccharide. And if the carbohydrate has more than 10 units, then it is known as a polysaccharide. Now I'll just give you all some examples. These examples are the common examples which are generally asked in your exam, so that you can just remember about them. The first one over here, glucose. Then you have fructose and galactose. In disaccharides, you can write down three examples. You can write down sucrose. You can write down lactose. And you can write down maltose. Okay. In oligosaccharides, you can write down the example of raffinose, but you do not require actually to write down oligosaccharide examples. So we'll leave that. For polysaccharides, I'll give you examples. You can write down cellulose, starch, glycogen. All these are forms of polysaccharides. Now a bit detail about them. We have glucose, fructose, galactose. All this is going to be a 6 carbon sugar. Galactose is going to be a 6 carbon sugar. Fructose is going to be again a 6 carbon sugar, but it's going to be a 5 ringed compound. You don't need to go in that in detail. When you talk about sucrose, what you need to remember is that this is called as table sugar. When you talk about lactose, you need to remember this is nothing but your milk sugar. So the sugar found in your milk is called as lactose. And that is why bacteria which act on the sugar which is present in milk and curdle it to form yogurt or curd is nothing but lactic acid bacteria, because they produce lactic acid from lactose. Okay, and maltose is nothing but malt sugar. In this, you need to remember about fructose. Fructose is also known as your fruit sugar. Okay, cellulose is found in plants. Starch is also found in plants. They are the form of storage material. Okay, carbohydrates are stored in the form of cellulose and starch in plants, and in animals, carbohydrates are stored in the form of glycogen. Now, you need to remember a few things about them, about carbohydrates. And what are they is that 1 gram of carbohydrate is going to give you approximately 4 kilocalories of energy. Okay, so this is generally asked that how much energy do you get from 1 gram of carbohydrate. So you should know the value. It is 4 kilocalories of energy. Okay, now we'll just talk about some other things in carbohydrates. Let's continue. Now, there are two processes. I need to just name those processes. You have glycogenesis. We just now spoke that glycogen is a storage form of carbohydrate in animals. Now, glycogenesis is a process wherein excess of glucose is stored in the form of glycogen in the liver and muscles. Okay, and this process is called as glycogenesis. Now this is when you have excess of glucose. Now when you are falling short of glucose, that time what do? You do glycolysis. So glycolysis is the opposite of glycogenesis. It only means that here you are going to have breakdown of glycogen to give glucose. Okay, I hope this much is understood. Now, living cells will receive carbohydrate from the blood in the form of glucose. We know that there is a hormone which aids this process, and that is called as insulin. So if you are asked that which hormone is going to aid for the transport of glucose, so it should be insulin. Okay, because it activates the receptors on your cells so that they receive the glucose. Okay, now there is one more process which is called as lipogenesis. Okay, the broader term for lipogenesis is glyconeogenesis. And under glyconeogenesis, you have something which is called as lipogenesis. Now, what is this lipogenesis? You know, when carbohydrates, when consumed in more than the desired quantity, or you have, the unutilized one, which is normally stored. Okay, this can get stored in the form of glycogen, but only a certain amount can get stored in the form of glycogen in the liver and muscles. Okay, if I have to give you the exact amount, it's going to be 4,000 kilocalories, which is stored at any given point of time in your liver and muscles. 1,000 in the liver, 3,000 in the muscles. But if you have more amount of this glucose, Okay, then what does the body do with it? Okay, the body converts this glucose into fats, and these fats are then stored in adipose tissue. Now, what is this adipose tissue? In layman's term, it is nothing but the fatty tissue. Okay, and this process is known as lipogenesis. The broader term for this is glyconeogenesis. Okay, because here we are storing glucose in another form of the macronutrient, that is fat. Okay, now another thing that you need to remember is that what are the sources? Okay, what are the sources of carbohydrate in your diet? So you have many sources of carbohydrate in your diet. You have fruits, you have vegetables, you have very cereals like rice, wheat, maize, etc. All these are sources of carbohydrate. I shall give you an easy tip to remember what are the sources of carbohydrate. Anything which is sweet to taste, for example, potatoes, sweet potatoes, they're sweet to taste. They are sources of carbohydrates. Rice has a natural sweetness in it. They are sources of carbohydrate. Fruits, they have the sweetness in them. They are sources of carbohydrate. Vegetables have those that roughage in them, not the fiber content which is made up of cellulose. So that is again sources of carbohydrate. Okay, now what is the daily requirement? Now you may ask that excess is going to be stored down and we build up so much of fat in our body. So what is the daily requirement? So the daily requirement of carb, I'll just write in the short, for an adult. Okay, an adult is considered average, we consider it as 70 kg, is going to be 500 grams. So we need to consume at least 500 grams. Now this quantity is going to be more. So I'll put an asterisk over here. It is going to be more for nursing mothers, growing children, there is a growing child, and athletes, or I'll just write down them as sports persons. Okay, so the requirement for carbohydrate is high over here. Now, how do you test whether a given material has carbohydrate in it? Okay, say suppose I give you a particular powder and I ask you, okay, tell me what does it contain? Does it contain carbohydrate? So what is the test for starch? Because normally carbohydrate is stored in the form of starch when it comes to plants. Okay, so here what do you do is you put 2 to 3 drops of dilute iodine solution. You remember the brownish color solution, okay, on the food. You can either prepare a slurry out of it, of the food, or you can put directly on the food. Now, if the food turns, if it turns blue-black, just look at the color, children, it should be blue-black. Then it is going to be contain starch. Therefore, because we know that iodine has a characteristic color that is a brownish color. So if it does not remain brown and it gets converted into a bluish black color, then it's going to contain carbohydrate. So this is all that I had to talk about carbohydrates when we were talking about carbohydrates, that is monosaccharide, disaccharides, polysaccharides. You only need to remember this much for your CTET exams, and this is more than enough for you. Okay, I hope you all have understood today's lecture. If you all have any comments, please leave them in the comment box. If you all have liked the lecture, please hit the like and the subscribe button. And thank you. Have a nice day.